Today we're going to meal prep honey garlic turkey bowls. If you're good with a knife and efficient in the kitchen, you can finish this one in under an hour. This meal is a great way to get in a variety of vegetables. We've got garlic and green beans, some red peppers, zucchini, and sweet onion. When you mix everything together, the flavors match together perfectly. The first thing you need to do is prepare your rice. I always recommend using a rice cooker. It will come out perfect every time. You don't have to worry about doing any babysitting while it's on the stove. All you have to do is add the rice, wash it until the water runs clear, add water to the line, and hit start. If you plan to make meal prep a habit, buy yourself a rice cooker. Obviously, cooking rice on the stove is no issue, and you can do that if you don't have a rice cooker. I just recommend the rice cooker because it's more convenient and it doesn't require as much work. The next step is to wash and cut all of your vegetables. I've got some sweet onions, red peppers, zucchini, and green beans. We're looking to cut each of our vegetables into a large dice. For the onions, I like to slice off both of the ends, make one cut longitudinally down the center, turn it sideways, and then cut it into a dice, allowing the layers to do most of my work. I find that when cutting peppers, the easiest way to avoid the seeds is to turn the pepper upside down and cut from the bottom to the top, guiding the knife around that seed capsule. From here, it's easy to just cut these into a large dice, about the same size as your onions. Same deal for our zucchini and our green beans, just aim for about the same size as what you already have cut. I like to keep the vegetables the same size for a couple of reasons. Number one, when you're cooking them, evenly sized things are going to cook at roughly the same speed. And number two, it just makes a better experience overall when you're eating the meal. You don't want to have anything too big that's going to overpower each bite. When everything is about the same size, you get roughly the same amount in every bite. Now for cooking the vegetables, add some oil to a large pot, or if you have one, a large skillet with lots of surface area is absolutely preferred here. Unfortunately for me, all I have is this large stock pot, so I have to deal with a small amount of surface area. It's not ideal for proper browning, but we can get the job done. Add the onions to cook first, and if you season early with salt, it will encourage water to come out of those onions a bit faster and will lead to better browning. Make some room in the center of your pot, add a bit more oil if needed, and then pour in the zucchini and the red peppers. You can see here that my pot is too small if I wanted to get good proper browning on all these vegetables. That's okay though, because the end product's still going to turn out great, and meal prep isn't about being perfect in technique. Oftentimes in meal prep, because we are cooking in such large quantities, you have to make sacrifices, and this is a good example of a sacrifice in technique that's going to lead to more efficiency and better time management in the kitchen. You could absolutely cook these vegetables in smaller batches to get good browning and develop lots of flavor on each piece. I don't find it necessary because, quite frankly, I think vegetables, no matter what, are gross, so it doesn't really matter to me. Season those vegetables with salt and pepper and set aside. Next, we need to cook the green beans. So in a large skillet over high heat, add a little bit of oil and the green beans. Because I'm doing this on camera and I can only fit one pot in the frame at a time, I have to do this all separately. But for you, when you have 4 burners on your stove at home, you should cook things together so that you can save time and make things go faster. Once the green beans are just about finished, add in your garlic, stir it around, and then pull it off the heat. We don't want the garlic to burn, so don't let it sit on the high heat for too long. At some point during this process, you should be cooking your turkey. If you have enough real estate on your stove and the amount of skillets necessary to cook all this at once, you could most certainly do that. Add that turkey to a skillet or a pot over medium-high heat with a bit of oil, and then give it some time to brown. Don't break it up right away. The number one mistake I see people make when cooking ground meats, especially turkey, is that they put it in a pot and they start chopping it up right away. This is going to release too much water, and it's going to cause the meat to steam instead of brown properly like we want it to. If you find your turkey is always gray, you probably are missing this step. Once you get it in the pan and flatten against the bottom of the surface, don't touch it. You have to let the heat do its job. At this step, you can season your turkey lightly with salt and pepper, and then add in those garlic green beans you just made and pour your sauce over the top. Now, unfortunately, I forgot to film the making of the sauce, but here's what's inside of it. The sauce is just a mixture of honey, chicken stock, sriracha, and soy sauce. All you have to do is stir that together and pour it over the top of your turkey and green bean mixture. Mix everything in the pot together until it is well incorporated, and make sure you are taste testing. Add more salt if necessary. If you find that it needs more sweetness, you can always add in another drizzle of honey. Spice is another thing. When I write these recipes, I don't make them too spicy, but if you like spicy food, add in more sriracha at this step. The last thing you need to do is divide your ingredients between your containers. Each container gets 3/4 of a cup of rice, and then I just split the vegetables and the meat mixture evenly. I don't measure it, I just eyeball it. These meals will last in the fridge for up to 5 days, and they can be reheated in the microwave. For microwave reheating of any of my meal prep recipes, I recommend starting with 1 minute first, stirring the food, and then microwaving in 30-second intervals until it reaches a temperature that you are comfortable with. You don't want to overcook the food. You have to remember that the microwave is also a cooking element. Each of these meals has about 468 calories and 33 grams of protein. You can find the full written recipe for these honey garlic turkey bowls in the description of this video below, or on my website, which is also the home of hundreds of other meal prep, snack, and macro-friendly dessert recipes. Go to mealprepmanual.com and check it out. I'll see you next time.